Welcome everybody to Too Much Free Time, where two Malaysian friends talk about the things they love. And today we have a special guest with a special format we're trying to do for season 3 onwards, where we're using a website called Riverside. Please sponsor. Just kidding. Where this helps. Hopefully, will help out the process a lot. And again, so my name is Snivy.
And I'm Apple.
And our guest, Alpha, or Alpaka in this case. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alpaka. Honored to be here for the first time. Thank you for Snivy's invitation.
Yeah, so Alpha has been a long-term supporter of the podcast. And I'm very grateful. And he's also a long-term friend for us as well. So finally getting to invite him on to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about cars specifically because Alpha is pretty interested in cars, and I may not be the car enthusiast here, but I can probably talk some bullshit about cars, alright? Alpha surprising has a decent background about cars. Could you tell the audience like what you have to do with cars on a long, like your life basis?
So in terms of cars, I was enrolled in mechanical engineering major and a program. Never finished it though. I have passed the test for national, the Association of National Automotive Service Excellence. So I'm 2 years of life experience away from getting the certificate. Also, I have worked for several clients who are engaged in the car manufacturing business.
Car manufacturing, I feel like even in Malaysia, car manufacturing is quite prominent. Like there's a lot of cars with factories here to assemble. Obviously, I think that's beneficial for any country because it can lower down import costs. Okay, aside from me, what about Apple? How involved are you with car culture or like car interests as a whole?
Well, with car culture and interests, well, for me personally, I have some knowledge, but that's mostly because my brother and my father, they're a bit like what? Car fanatics or whatever, car nerds or whatever. And I, like, when I grew up, my family had like 7 cars. 8 cars or something.
What the fuck? So much. That's a lot.
But they were mostly civilian cars, but so it's fine.
Okay, alright. For myself, I am a proud owner of my first car just literally last year, so I can at least talk in excess of my purchase experience and stuff like that. So today's topics that Alpha has generally given us that we'll be delving into, he mainly wants to talk about electric cars as a whole and how it affects like the culture, the overall economics and like stuff like that in terms of car culture, right? Because electric cars are definitely getting more and more prominence across the years ever since, like, I think the earliest was still 2015 onwards. I don't actually know the progeniting timeline of electric cars. We all know that Tesla, blah blah blah. We're gonna talk about Tesla and talk about Mr. Musk, maybe, I don't fucking know. But the other topics that we're going to talk about are like, yes, Mr. Musk. He probably has a specific Musk too, but I don't know freaking know. Also, we're going to talk about a few topics aside from electric cars. Like the first car that impressed us. What do we think about plug-in hybrids? Our dream cars, our favorite cars, stuff like that. So if you're looking forward to this episode of Too Much Free Time, Season 3, give us a like, follow us, and on all the platforms. So, starting off, Alpha, why did you suggest electric cars as like the primary topic? Like we all know we were gonna talk about cars to begin with, but why electric cars? What intrigues you about electric cars that made you want to talk about it?
First of all, I'm not really a owner or a very much big fan of the current electric cars, given what kind of milestone they are at right now. Personally, I own a petrol car. In your terms, petrol car. And in our terms, gas cars. Gasoline, internally combustion cars. So, and also if I'm to own a car right now, to get a next another car, it will also be a gasoline car, or at most a plug-in type. Well, anything with a gas engine. But for electric cars, it seems like they are really on the rise, and I think that's where the industry is going. As for now, I think one day they will take over, and I think their direction and their future perspective is really what many people's concerning right now. So I think it's a very a topic that can be informative, or well, they can provide some good insights.
So just like what you said, right, about electric cars being more and more of a discussion topic overall across the culture of like car fans. Like cars are becoming more and more of a topic, even on like tech reviewing like channels. Not just saying MKBHD. Obviously, he has his whole new channel, autofocus and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of autofocus specifically because I don't give a shit about cars, but the discussion is something that I don't mind listening to. Also, like other tech channels I've noticed started talking more about cars because like there are surprisingly a lot of new EVs coming very soon in the next few years. And obviously, the famous one that I know is probably like the Tesla S or something. I don't remember the name itself, but obviously Tesla has quite a few. I think Ford has come up with a few. Supposedly, I heard like the Ford, the classic truck. I don't know what model it was called, Ford F or something. I don't freaking remember. But I've heard that it has gained an electric model coming up, which is pretty interesting. Because a lot of people do favor that car model, and if it has a alternative like electric version, I think it'll be quite popular eventually. And that's all I currently can say before we start the discussion. What about you, Apple? What do you think about electric cars being on the rise as a topic overall?
Well, for electric cars, actually, there's a lot of other than Tesla, there's a lot of companies that are coming out with electric, like their main thing is like electric cars. For example, in the US, they have Rivian, which is mostly like a what?
Oh yeah, Rivian. I heard a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, pickup truck. Electric pickup truck. And like they are very very fancy and like fancy in the way as in like that's a lot of things you can do with the amount of space you save from like not putting an engine, you know?
Yeah, they can have like a front like storage or something, I think.
Yeah, that, and at like the on top of the wheel there, I once saw like a video that they were like they put like a whole camping set over there, and I was like, shit, that's so cool. Cutting board, everything, right? There's also another electric car company that's on the rise pretty recently. It's actually in our home country, Malaysia.
Kia.
You know?
Is it Kia? No.
It's
Potona.
Good
Don't tell me
Cat.
Potona.
Good Cat is very unknown, but
Good
I
Cats?
saw it. Yeah, search it. Search it. Oda.
Do they come with a
by
cat?
Oda. Good Cat. Okay. It looks like a bit like a mini Suzuki Swift, right? But it's electric, and the screen is huge. I've seen it firsthand actually when I was in Penang. Very very cool, but of course the price of a premium of a electric car in Malaysia is still very premium. So yeah.
The design looks kind of funky, man. This Good Cat. It looks like a very like old type of car design. I don't know. It's trying to be it looks like a Countryman or
headlights. Suzuki Swift. Yeah. Electric Suzuki Swift. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of upcoming like car brands that are just mainly electric coming up. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they expand or like how they go, you know? Yeah.
Alright, so electric cars, I still can't say they're even like that on the rise in Malaysia yet, because there's not enough stations that I've seen, even in Kuala Lumpur here. Like the only one I've noticed are in like the very major shopping center parking spots, like KLCC.
Yeah.
And that's like a minority, like very minority. I haven't seen any of them. So, getting into the first topic that Alpha has proposed, those are what we think about electric cars currently, but are they overrated currently? Do you think they're overrated, Alpha?
At this point, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, damn.
So my perspective is, if you are a average owner who has to care about the ownership cost of owning a vehicle, any vehicle, electric cars, they don't really, I would say, are cost effective than petrol cars at this rate. They only give you a financial advantage if your use case is a certain use case. For example, if you are doing a lot of city driving, a lot,
Yeah.
and you happen to be
Yeah,
having
that's true.
the supporting facilities like a charging station nearby, or in NA, North America, if you own a house with the compatible outlet that you can charge your car with fast enough. Yeah, I think that's the only use case where an electric car will benefit you in the long run. If you are doing mixed driving, at least in NA, you want to have a gas car because you need that, gas and go feature that electric cars just don't have for now.
Gas and go. Do they need like a warm up after a charge or something? Like obviously, if you're putting gas in the car, it just works, right?
Yeah.
I do agree that off-road or like out of the city, it's quite hard to have a consistent drive without like knowing that you have the safety of a charging station like relatively nearby. Obviously, that's what makes like city driving for electric cars much easier. The concern is there.
Yeah.
That's also why like I still haven't seen too many electric cars here. Because again, there's too few stations, and the world's infrastructure is still set with gas cars in mind. It'll take a long while until every gas station starts implementing like a charging station as a side. I think they should, because the market is rising, not gonna lie. What about you, Apple? What do you think? Are they overrated?
I think they have a promise of being really good, but for now, they're just kind of meh, you know?
There's still
Right now, they're
there's still
just
not
meh.
enough leverage.
Yeah. Like, what? A fully charged, one normal, like, electric car in Malaysia, right? Fully charged, they can make it up to Genting, you know? That might sound very, like, good and
Like
stuff,
about
but
an
like,
hour and a half drive like that, right?
yeah, but like fully charged, and then that's the end, you know, when you reach Genting. Like, you're like left with so little. I'm like, I don't think that's worth it, you know, especially like in the roads of Malaysia, you know. There's a countryside where like you can't get any electric charge. So yeah, as of now, it's
In the
kind of
countryside, it's also hard to get gas sometimes. Even
Yes,
gas is quite
true.
uncommon, not gonna lie. So I think like if we're gonna go with a gaming equivalent, I think it's the same as VR currently. If you can think of where I'm coming
quite
from,
niche.
right? It's like you need a lot of the proper tools to start utilizing it in terms of like the general public. Like, it's hard to say everybody has the right PC to work with VR. Even if we can get a PS5, the VR is also very pricey.
Yeah.
And all of that I think goes the similar in terms of like the electric vehicle scene. So for me, do I think they're overrated? I won't say they are, because they're not part of the public discussion yet in terms of like everyone is talking about it. Like until the point where even the freaking normal ass person starts talking about electric cars being the future, then I will say they're really overrated. Because again, nothing to prove, right? So currently, I think it's up to the developers and manufacturers to prove the concepts that are currently proposed, as they do every time there's something like this happens. Same thing went with VR like 30 years ago. It wasn't proven. And then the first VR like gaming headset was the worst thing ever that everyone ever touched. And but people are liking what they are currently experiencing with the cars. So I think they're still not 100% overrated yet. The promise, some people have believed the promise is met, but deserve improvement. So the next question is obviously, what do you think about the fact that are they necessary for like the world to, I guess, adopt? I don't know if Alpha, that's what you're thinking in terms of the question, but I feel like eventually the world will adopt, but are they necessary for us to change to, right? So Alpha, do you want to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So the word necessary is, I think it can be substituted by replaceable. So is there a something that necessary means you don't have it, you can't live without it. But for now, I think there are no scenarios that you can live. There are no scenarios that you can. What's the logic?
You mean like it's not a must-have product yet?
Yeah.
Like
I can only think of.
I think we can all look like back then when smartphones were first introduced. I think EVs, if they're developed properly, I think they can be a must-have. But continue your topic.
A good example. Thank you for mentioning smartphones. So right now I've seen the most rise in electric vehicles in 3 fields. First is like racing, and to be specific, the straight line racing. They do have a lot of torque from static to moving. So, but it's not that necessary because racing is like a niche of the whole car industry. Second is transportation in urban area. Like I said, the facility that supports electric vehicles are mostly implemented in urban areas for now, and the transportation, they can really benefit from the infrastructure already there. So urban transportation, and they are very well integrated with the current electric grid system. It's actually better than gas buses as for now, because imagine many buses they are queuing for getting the gas or getting maintenance. Yeah. Third area where electric vehicles are kind of necessary. What is it? Like the section where fulfills the luxury section. Some people, they just want something fancy. It's a need. I think it's something that you cannot easily replace by old-fashioned traditional gas vehicles. And
so you're saying that it caters to the market that loves the premium, like early adopter market, right? Could you say that? Like the early adopters want the EVs, right? Currently, it caters to the early adopters of like
they created a new market.
Hyped. Yeah, true. What about you, Apple? What do you think about what Alpha just mentioned?
One thing where it's like the urban transportation, like especially like buses, maybe it can replace that.
Electric buses?
I've seen one. Yeah, but like I've seen one thing. I've seen a video. Is it in Las Vegas or Los Angeles? What is it? The Loop. I don't know. Have you heard about it? It's like the Vegas Loop, where it's like it's sponsored by Tesla. So like what, the person drives you from like one end to another end of Las Vegas in the Tesla. So it's like a taxi, and then it goes back, you know. And like it's basically a weird transportation system. And when I saw that at first, I was like, why? You know, like sure, maybe it's like it can replace normal transportation in that sense, but like still, it's kind of stupid. But that's like trying to be public transportation, so it can't compare. But yeah. Wait, literally look it up. It's so stupid.
What's it called? Las Vegas.
The Vegas Loop. Vegas Loop.
Loop.
Tesla tunnel.
Why is it called the Boring Company, Lamau? Okay.
Inside boring tunnel, some people.
So it's like a set path for EVs to ride in as public transport.
Yep. There's also like in America, I've seen some videos of it also, like self-driving car taxis. And most of the videos I saw is mostly of it malfunctioning, not gonna lie.
Okay.
It's like what the cop is trying to pull over, but then there's actually no driver, and then like the passenger behind is just like, what do I do? You know?
It's like, woo, where open up? Wait, there's nobody here. Nani? Oh, what about you? Where's the driver?
No driver. The AI is under influence.
AI is drunk, bro. Drunk off of what? Oil? Oh man.
So yeah, maybe public transportation with EV has to go, like has to have a man still, you know, a person, you know.
Okay. Okay, about the public transportation as EV, if they're gonna do autopilot, I think a bus would make sense, because it's a set path. Only if it works that way. If it's a set path, let's say the simplest few bus routes that I know across like KL and like Petaling Jaya here in Malaysia, they run on a set path throughout the day. So if the AI is obviously developed enough to not interfere with real drivers, and obviously being on a set path means more consistent times and more consistent speed where everybody can go on time, like the thing that Japan is doing really well, you know, across their public transport systems with human drivers. And the second thing is, if you're thinking of a good public transport, like let's say taxis or whatever, obviously Britain, UK is a very good example that AI, if they're gonna implement it, can learn from, right? Because their brains, they have to know every destination that a person would want to go to properly be a taxi driver in the UK, from what I remember. So and AI can benefit from that. Again, like AI currently is also on the rise with ChatGPT and like Bard and shit like that. So naturally, if the transportation system and obviously like car industry can develop that better, I do think that could be a very great place to start off easing the general public to the idea, both on autopilots and obviously more EV public transportations. Then obviously a must-have product, naturally EVs are not that currently because no infrastructure. First hand, Alpha mentioned that. And two is, again, the pricing is definitely not accessible for the typical person. Like, damn, I can fucking think of buying that when the price is like similarly lofty of a goal as you owning like a sports car in general.
Yeah.
And the maintenance, I can't even imagine how annoying that will be, because again, not enough places offer the services for like maintenance of an EV, especially here in Malaysia. I don't know how developed that the after sales service section of that EV section EV segment of the industry is in America either. I feel like they're still like relegated to just the main companies themselves. Not enough people have the knowledge to service an EV yet. So again, it will take a lot of time, similar to the smartphones. But if they can convince the general public of how much of a change and how trendy it can be for them, they will adopt it. That's what happened with the iPhone as well. But it'll take a few generations. Because, like, let's say, not just the iPhone as a smartphone, even the folding phone that is more recent, right? It took 4 generations for the public to really adopt it
Yeah.
commonly. With the Samsung Fold 4. And again, iPhone, same example, it finally got good at iPhone 4. So, again, I
But
think it
when
will take
does
like
this get
a few
good?
generations. But also,
Yeah.
cars have a longer generation cycle each generation. Like a phone, like every year or 2. A car takes like every 5 to 10 years. So,
Yeah, like how often do you replace your car? No, right?
yeah, but I do see a trend among developers or manufacturers is that they are turning their original gas car models, popular ones, into EVs as an alternative option. So that one is also like people are familiar with these model designs and how they feel.
Yeah.
2, if it changes to EV, because people are familiar with them, they are more comfortable and maybe adopt them. I mean, possibly, right? So I feel like that's what the manufacturers are hoping for before they be like, this is the revolution of the century, like the Cybertruck was like, it's just a tank.
Oh my god, yeah, the Cybertruck.
Yeah,
The
it looks like a
bulletproof.
freaking. It looks like a modern sci-fi concept car that shouldn't really exist yet. I feel like if anybody's gonna take any design from fiction, take a Tron design or take a freaking like Back to the Future. Like if I mentioned the DeLorean, right? If the DeLorean became an electric car,
Wait,
people
the
would
DeLorean is a
buy it.
actual car.
No, but I do see like an EV here, which is called the DeLorean. So I feel like it will happen eventually. But again, concept car
Maybe.
concepts over here.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy with fan fiction on cars today, alright? I'm not even an
Yeah.
actual nerd on cars. Any more you want to talk about the fact that like cars right now, are they must-have products yet? I'm pretty sure we all agree they're not, right? Right?
Like EV cars, right? They're not must have.
Yeah, not yet. So,
Yeah.
at what time do you think there will be like less or like the obsolescence? I don't know that's a grammar right word, but when will petrol cars become obsolete? Do you think? How long would it take to get there? I feel like Alpha has a guess. I know you're pretty much still on the camp of the gas cars over EV cars, from what I have heard. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but when do you think that'll happen? You're the one that wrote the question. You probably thought it more than me, so.
Yeah. I don't have a specific time, but I think it will only become a viable option than petrol cars when the electric grid system in that region has developed a more efficient way to perform high distance, high voltage power. What I don't know the term for it, but
So it's like battery
region-
efficiency, right? Power efficiency is the first thing.
Not battery. Power grid efficiency.
Oh, yeah. It's like the output of the power grid itself, right?
So right now, let me put it this way. So actually, the generating facilities or where you get your electricity are not in your urban area. They're like further away, and those electricity, those power, they travel a great distance from maybe a rural area, maybe next to a river.
Outskirts of cities, right?
Yes. And it gets even worse in a more remote area. So to facilitate the growing of electric cars, you need to have such facilities or a grid system that covers a lot more regions, even the remote areas or like a corner of the city. Only then can it's just like 5G, you know. 5G now covers a wider area that makes landlines obsolete. In the past, there are areas where landline's the only option, and you just get no signals for 1G or 2G. But now, why everyone's carrying cell phones? I haven't seen a landline in years. That is because the growing of the network, the infrastructures has rendered the need for landlines obsolete.
True. It will still take, like, if you're taking 5G as an example, I think that will still take a while, even though all the phones are currently equipped with 5G capabilities.
Yeah.
There's the infrastructure for 5G is also still not prominent because the technology is still very fresh. For the one thing about the 5G part, this is just a tangent, is that it's harder for 5G to cross hard surfaces like our walls. So it's still not the easiest for cell phone 5G. But of course, home 5G is different. Router 5G is working, but that's more like a different frequency, more than like 5G, which is packing more
Are you
bandwidth into.
Excuse me. Are you talking about the 5G on your router?
Yeah, no,
That
I mean,
says on
I was thinking about
That's
the,
a
like,
5
infrastructure.
gigahertz.
Yeah, that's 5G, but in a different sense. Imagine being a common guy. They all sound the same, alright? Anyways. Imagine being a nerd. Anyways. But yeah, I was talking about 5G more of in the infrastructure of like our cell networks.
Well said. Yeah, that's what I mean by a better infrastructure will help the network extend it to, corners of a well-covered area.
Also, with that part, I can also understand why 5G is developing at a rate that it is because there are more hands funding the infrastructure as well. Obviously, all the telecommunication networks, they are putting money into this. The phone brands themselves are also putting money into developing their tech to support it as soon as it's capable. And also, hopefully the government is helping. I think they should be, because they need to make like telephone like networks and stuff for that. And then the same thing goes for your EVs as well, in which I don't know how many companies currently developing EVs can be part of the development of the infrastructure, because like we do have Tesla. But that's only because they are the primary, like they're the biggest current developer and company behind EVs. Obviously, other car manufacturers can join into the race to develop the infrastructure. But again, it's more costly than telecommunication networks, obviously. You need like land, you need electricity to be better for one, as you mentioned, with like the power grid system being still incapable of supporting this for the common masses. And definitely in terms of time, like for me, I feel like obviously because cars take way longer for a generation, both in the infrastructure of the cities and the car itself as a product, it will take them probably at least a few decades. I think like in the 2070s is the day when petrol cars start disappearing, back in my day. But yeah,
I have about the same guess.
Back in my
2060.
day. Yeah, probably that far, because car
2060
takes so long, man. We're fucking grandparents at that point. What about you, Apple? What do you think about this?
Huh?
What do you think about this? Like, how long do you think petrol cars will be relevant until it needs to become obsolete eventually? I think there are gonna still be a lot of people who like retro shit, like gas cars, no matter what.
Yeah. But for it to become obsolete completely,
I can picture it in the 60s, alright? People gonna be like, retro is in, gas cars are the new old.
Oh my
Just like
God.
you know how like flip phones and shit are coming back like for a while, right? Like some people are still buying those because they're non-smart smartphone, they're dumb phones. People are buying that shit up. I feel like the gas car market will still be there as like an alternative to the minority of people who like the old, who are too boomer at the period, right? They are boomers to adopt the new thing because it is rotting the new generation. And especially, but one thing about EVs that I do hope, like because like Apple is marketing that, which is CarPlay and stuff like that. I do hope they integrate more of like the software, like smartphone to car integration eventually, even if it's gas cars.
Yes.
Because being able to connect easily is a luxury I've only learned after owning my new car, which is a newer car compared to my parents' car, who still have CDs, no Bluetooth connection, barely any like aux cable connection, and all that jazz. Goddamn. I need to burn CDs to use to play any songs on the cars. Alright.
Oh my God. Burn CDs.
I remember when I was in college, I would burn CDs of anime songs just for my friend who has an old ass like Myvi, or is it like Axie, something like something small. Yeah, something like that lah. But his car's CD player is so weird where if it bumps, it literally just suddenly halts the freaking tracks for a bit.
Oh my God.
That's the vibe, bro. That's the vibe. We go travel to a con in a broken old ass car. Technically, the vibe of singing anime songs and that is so funny, and I do cherish that memory. But burning playlists to him is like, yeah, that vibe is there. Nowadays, you need to share your Spotify playlist and stuff.
Insert my meme here.
Yeah, insert my V, crashes into a freaking river, but still plays your song. So pretty good, right? Alright, but talking about EVs again, the biggest brand is definitely Tesla currently. We don't know if anybody's gonna overrun them.
Yeah.
I feel like General Motors has a chance eventually, because Elon Musk sama is so freaking everywhere with everything. Twitter is dying. SpaceX is in hiatus basically in terms of the news. And Tesla is now like kind of an afterthought, quote unquote. He's using Tesla Cash for Twitter. Maybe. I don't fucking know. That's a speculative thing. But what do you think of Tesla? I think this time we'll start from Apple first before we go from Alpha. Start from the non-professional opinion first. Or Apple, give us your thoughts on Tesla.
On Tesla.
As a person, Apple's family uses a lot of like higher level cars compared to what I know, like BMWs and Mercedes. So I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
Tesla. At first, I thought it was cool with the screen, being able to play Witcher 3.
Being able to play Witcher 3?
A whole PC. There's basically a whole PC in your car, and I thought that was cool at first, and then I slowly, all the like shit Tesla the company is, right? And the build quality of the cars, oh my god, that's horrendous. Actually.
Have you ever sat in one in like a showcase like place or whatever? Showroom. Sorry, they're called showrooms. So how would you know they're shit quality technically?
There's so many videos of Teslas just crumbling. right, just when they bought it, you know?
They need to learn from Myvis, specifically.
True.
Oh, we need an electric Myvi.
Oh my god.
So that's your thoughts on Tesla. Any more, or Alpha's gonna go next?
Yeah, I think... I don't know. Tesla is kind of a stain in my head.
That's a weird wording, stain on your head.
No, it's just, I feel like it could be so much good, more greater, more impactor. But no, it's just an afterthought.
More impactor. I mean, at least the rockets are doing good, right?
Rockets,
maybe. I haven't heard any
SpaceX.
news from SpaceX in like years. I don't know if they're still working on that shit.
I think
Thanks.
space exploration is stupid.
What the fuck? Okay, Alpha, continue. Get this topic back on.
I got one one word for Elon Musk: make affordable EVs. Like they start off making luxury EVs. That's a good start because that's the only market section.
Where's your EV SUVs? Oh, E-SUV, sorry.
Yeah. They start off making luxury cars, Model S. That's a good start because that's the only market margin or share that is not taken. They made their first buck from there. Good start. But now you have got everything you need. We need affordable EVs. That's how you like make the industry grow.
Okay, let me give you an analogy on that. Okay, let's say obviously catering to the premium, like the highest bid, like quote unquote highest bidder premium early adopter market first gets your name out there through the nerds, right? The nerds will notice you. Then you need to start being general. The people need to know, like, want the basic bit shit. Like, let's say being an artist has the same idea. You need to be able to make the most prettiest thing compared to other people to get your name out there. But to get the numbers, just do what everybody's doing. Just make what everybody likes, right? Which is typically for families, SUVs. Obviously, like to me, right? Like cars that are more general family use type of like market. Because one, the cost margins I think is obviously easier to handle than a premium car, for one. From what I understand. Two is obviously more people would want it because not everybody wants a sports car.
True.
Not
everyone
one
wants
thought
a
about that.
sedan.
One thought about that I have when I rode like Apple's family's car, a Mercedes. I don't know what the hell the model, doesn't matter. But the simple fact that the Benz is so fucking fast makes me fear for my life. Alright? Your brother drives way too fast. I feel like I'm gonna die just by sitting in that car, alright? My car, I drive at like 80 to 100 max kilometers per hour, right? And I am already feeling I'm so fucking fast. If I mishandle anything, I will die tonight, alright? So, again, I would probably never drive like a sports or like a premium car.
Yeah.
I'll stick to my lowly Toyota, alright? At least it's consistent, right?
You've been in the BMW also, alright? No, you drove it also.
No, I didn't manage to drive it. But I did ride in it. The interesting thing is it does feel good with the torque, obviously, right? Suddenly, it feels good. But I just feel like I'm risky. I don't want to risk anything. I don't want to risk anything. With Malaysia's like uneven terrain overall, the rains, the shit that happens here. I don't want to be that one guy in the headlines with my fucking car in the ditch, alright?
Yeah. I remember when you were driving the BMW, right? You were confusing the turn signals a lot.
Oh yeah, when I rode your family's car.
Yeah.
Because
funny.
again, left side and right side is different for some reason for me. Because I only drove like Asian developed cars compared to obviously a Western developed car. I think we'll talk about that in a bit. I cut off Alpha just now.
Oh no.
I'm done.
He's done. Alright. But this is funny topic. Do you want to hop into this? Like, what are your thoughts on the car? Surprising, this is like actually one of the topics you have later, but you know. The first car that impressed you. Damn.
Any car?
What is the first car that impressed you? Obviously, we're talking about EVs just now, but you know, getting into like normal cars, we're talking about the cars we already have experienced. Because all three of us don't actually have an EV, so all we're talking about is still technically theories in our heads.
Yeah.
Oh, we are over.
I mean, you can literally
EV
walk
session,
to a showroom.
right?
I don't even know if Tesla has a showroom for you to try their cars. Do they? They should, right? I don't know. Definitely not in Malaysia, from what I know. But
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
which question
that.
are we at now?
Okay, we'll go continue with your order. All right. So if a traditional petrol car manufacturer is to defeat Tesla in the electric car section, what breakthrough they will have to make? I did mention a few points to this topic earlier when I talked about how like cars have to, like General Motors, for example, have to. I feel like they have a chance of overtaking Tesla in the scene because obviously they have the Ford. They can just they have familiarity with the general public already, having like people who own their trucks commonly. And obviously in America, from what I understand, trucks are one of the more common vehicles that people like buying over there. I feel like over here it's like the more conservative, less heavy duty cars that are more popular here. Obviously Proton and Perodua are our brands naturally.
Yeah.
We have quite a few SUVs out there. We have a lot of like, I don't know what the category is called, like a Proton Beza or like a Toyota Vios, those types of cars. I don't know what they're called in terms of category, but they are very common
Long
cars.
ones?
Long cars, I guess, and also
Oh,
like
the MPVs.
short,
They're MPVs.
or they're MPVs, and
Multi-purpose,
obviously, the short backs. What my car is a Toyota Yaris. I actually prefer this shape because I don't need that big of a back technically, and obviously a Myvi is part of the category as well. And I feel obviously my mother used to have a Toyota Wish, and if you know the model, it's really long of an SUV.
Yeah.
And she always had gripes after changing to riding my car on a daily basis that car was hard to handle in terms of like parking, tight spaces, because it is a very long car. He needs to go at an L shape and be very careful. Obviously, with a car that's short, you don't have to give a shit about that. It's very easy to drive out. And when I first drove my car versus driving her car, holy shit, it's so comfortable to drive. Obviously, because it's a new car. But my mother's car is like the 2010s. It's like secondhand when she bought it. And it's probably older than 2010 as well. So mine is like a 2020 model. The difference is drastic. Obviously the software integration is drastic. I get to connect to my phone like easily, listen to songs easily, and the controls on your steering wheel are more obviously integrated than cars back in the day. Back in the day, like my only concept is a 2010 versus a 2020 car, 10-year difference. I wasn't even there for the gradual transition, of integrating this stuff. But obviously, like things like the sensors across the car or something I had to deal with after changing from my mother's driving to her old car where there were none. The only sensor was maybe at most the back sensor of like if you're too close to a wall, that's it, max. They had to rely on old school skills, where they look at the mirrors over here. Yeah, my father still does that with my car, and I'm like, you can see the screen. I'm a Gen Z in this case, right?
You can see the screen.
Yo, it is still like trustworthy to just follow the old ways of how the driving schools teach you, not gonna lie. But the screen helps to further clean up your parking, right? Let's say that. It doesn't, like the screen doesn't help you with your parallel parking too much, to be honest.
Yes.
But it does help you from hitting the guy behind you when you're parallel parking. So, good. Also, like the sensor, which is kind of freaking annoying sometimes, which is when you cross a line in the road, like the lane. There's a sensor for lanes as well. I toned down the sensitivity of that because my parents don't know how to do that. So I toned it down when I had a chance to drive. So I'm like, they probably don't want that too much. Okay, let me just tune it down. I don't want it gone because it does tell you something that you should be cautious of. So I just tuned it down to low sensitivity. It's still very prominent. So, There's also a sensor where if anything is too close to you, it shows up at the mirrors. I noticed that on my car, which is interesting. I thought that was the sensor, but that wasn't exactly it. So, okay. Also, they have a lot more like GPS or like integral camera systems around the car now. I don't know if it's 360. They're trying to emulate 360 where they they put on the screen like a virtual simulation of your car taking up what space.
Ah.
Like, oh, you're too close to the
Yeah.
side of the road, or like it's a tight space overall that you're driving in, that they show like walls and like other cars in the vicinity with the cameras that are integrated. All that stuff is very fresh for me because, again, I only own my car for a year. I only drove it like 6 times. I still drove it like under 20 times across the year because my mother drives it on the daily. I have no reason to. I have a motorcycle, so I don't need it too much. But when I can drive, it's really comfortable. Apple still can't drive yet. But you, as a rider, what do you think?
As a passenger.
Yeah, as
Passenger
a passenger.
princess. What do I think? Okay, so my family have had a lot of cars over the year, and like as of now, our oldest car is definitely either the BMW or the Mercedes. Like they're very 2006, 2004.
Oh,
Yeah.
not the newer models within the last decade lah.
Yeah, they don't even have an aux. No, the BMW does, but the Mercedes doesn't. So yeah,
Mercedes.
but they're classic. Mercedes, but
Those
they're
Germans,
sure classic.
I don't even know
cars.
it was German made.
And there's actually a very funny story. Like, I've always been picked up by like different cars every day after school. Like my classmates, the people at the school are like, they don't even know which class my
variety assorted of cars every day coming to pick Apple up.
Yeah, but the main family car last time was definitely what? An Estima, a Toyota Estima. Yes, the very classic MPV. But the question is, what car like first amazed you?
If you're going back a little step, is like, what would it take for a car to? What kind of breakthrough does a car need to like overtake Tesla? In my case, it's just me talking about like the things I think are breakthroughs that happen within the past 15 years of cars that I am surprised at. Right, that was a tangent that happened because I was fucking rambling. But again, it's like, what would it take for somebody to overtake the company?
I lost focus.
No, I'm the one that made you guys lost focus.
Yeah.
Distractions. Yes. Okay, and you continue.
Oh my god. So, shit. What was the question?
What would it take for
What
a car
would take-
company to, or what features would it, or what breakthroughs would it need to overtake Tesla as the top EV brand currently?
Oh, definitely affordability. Okay. Affordability, quality, maybe some customer support.
Like after sales, right? Both for customer
Yeah.
before the purchase and after the purchase.
Yeah. Man, I think every car company should have some customer support.
Imagine having just some.
Yeah, imagine. And then I don't think you'd have to be that fancy with your interior, as long as it's like caught up with the recent like screen, Android Auto, you know.
You need the leather seats, the high gear shift box, the RGB lights inside, you know, the spoilers, all that shit, you know.
No,
There's a
you
very
don't
heavy
need all of
body
that
kit culture here.
A very like what? Affordable EV cars don't need to have all of that, okay? As long as it has a screen and like it drives well, right?
As long as
And
it works.
fuel economy is good. And that's good. Oh my God,
Fuel
what's that
economy when they don't use fuel. JK. They need.
What is it,
They
battery
need good
economy
electric.
then?
They need good battery efficiency, I guess. Like we mentioned.
Yeah.
First is the power needs to be able to supply it fast enough and also like enough. Then the car needs to itself be efficient. What are your thoughts on what Apple mentioned about these points, Alpha, and also give your own thoughts on this?
Yeah, affordability is definitely something that Tesla is not doing so well as for now. I have one point about this though. That's why I make the question, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's overlooking one thing that Tesla is absolutely trying to avoid talking about now. Something they should have provided, but they are not. It's called it kind of falls into the category of customer support. Well, and let me put it this way: any car manufacturer, if they are making electric vehicles, they just have to do one thing to be the top electric car seller. They just have to do one thing. They will have to say, we will be responsible for any damage or accident or casualties caused by a failure of an AI driving system.
Has AI been implemented that much currently for that the terms and conditions to apply yet?
You see, affordability and that AI thing, they can be done. They are not unachievable. They are not a niche in the technique. By hiring the right team, by getting, you just have to, you can dig someone from Tesla. You pay them more, and I got them. I hired them from Tesla. It can be done in a short period of time. But that commitment, requires a careful study of the law, a huge investment, another section of the company that dealing with investigating accidents, finding the cause of it, based on the accident, fixing the automated driving system, and really committing to it. Tesla is not doing that.
Yeah.
So
Tesla is
it's
a little
like
condescending
having the
now.
company be fully responsible to any liabilities that have happened because this technology is still relatively new and
Yes.
developing.
They need to give
okay,
the
I
customer
do
that
agree.
kind of insurance. If many customers right now, they don't trust EVs or
So it's like a
the
customer
AI.
guarantee, right?
Yes.
Like a promise that the company needs to make.
It has to be a very plain, simple promise. No wording, no legal loop. Has to be like something, no question asked.
True. My criteria that I would want to add is just not enough supply to meet any demand, even currently. From what I've heard, is the orders are always backed up very badly. Even for people who have already pre-ordered it and paid a number of whatever number it takes to get one. That's supply too. So supply and demand, even for like the most desired EV, is still not met, which is the Tesla models, right? And like I mentioned, I believe General Motors is probably the company that could match, or a lot of the Asian companies like Korea and Japan have a chance.
Hyundai.
I don't know if Mazda has the capability. I just know a few brands. Like obviously Kia is the one that's also quite popular here in Malaysia. Obviously my family is more used to like Mitsubishi and Toyota a lot. So those are the brands I have a lot of faith in. I don't know if they're even developing releasing anytime soon with theirs. But I feel like a lot of companies have a chance, alright? Tesla's not doing that good, to be honest. So, it's the bar's not that high, guys. Please.
What is the waiting period for ordering a Tesla in MY like? How long have to wait after you order it to get the
I
product?
feel like because 2023 right now has a lot of highly anticipated EVs already planned to release. So I think it'll only take 2 years for more adoption of the current vehicles, because the brands that are currently gonna offer an option that's EVs are the more commonly more familiar brands. Because again, most people haven't ever touched a Tesla.
Yeah.
So the name is still pretty much a mystery in terms of how well they last over time, how well it is in terms of like the value proposition in terms of as a buyer. Not enough people are out there spreading the word aside from like the top influencing people. No.
So regarding the supply and demand, how long do I have to wait in Malaysia if I order a Tesla before I can get the car delivered?
Man, if I knew the answer to that, I would be rich.
Yeah.
Well, you wait at least, right?
I mean, let's say even right now during the post-COVID season, a lot of people who got cars, even from the more general brands like even Toyota or Mitsubishi, are having a harder time procuring their models fast or as soon as possible because a lot of the models are just not made yet because COVID-19 has halted a lot of production. So COVID has affected that a lot. Not gonna lie. Like I'm just lucky that my color was available very soon because I am not picky with the color, right? I chose a chrome silver color. That's pretty much it. I wanted like red technically internally. I wanted red, but they don't have it. But I'm not that picky with the car because if a car looks fine, it's pretty good. So I got my car pretty soon. But a lot of people who have made the purchase or the loan of their cars before me haven't gotten the cars. Like some of them, even till today. So the supply right now is still getting halted because of the few years of COVID-19 affecting most of the manufacturing. And if we're talking about estimation of Tesla here, in which I don't think I've ever seen one, so it probably will take a few years if I were to order it today. Because Malaysia is like a backwater country compared to America. So why the hell would they look at us first? We're nobodies, technically. So that's my thought on that. But talking about that, going back to one of the things that we kind of mentioned, the first car that impressed us. Do you have a first car that impressed you? I feel like Apple Alpha probably has. The suspense is building.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Drum roll, please. What is the car that you had the big first impression? Like, it's amazing or whatever.
Yeah.
Surely you have already known your answer. Come on, you're the one that wrote this question down. Putting you on the spot.
For me?
Go! Go! How God die soon!
Well, there are many cars that, through the time impressed me differently. I'll just talk about the first car that gave me like goosebumps. It's a Nissan Cedric.
Oh.
You can look that up. I don't know. I think it was around early 2000 something. Well, by early 2000, Nissan Cedric is already an old car.
Oh wow!
Really
To be specific, I would say V30. Nissan Cedric V30.
V30.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is like grandpa's car, JK.
I don't know. It just looks so fine.
It does look really nice, especially if the paint job is the right one.
And like that car has a lot of nice features that if you put them in today, they don't look outdated. Like automated AC. Like it's not a knob.
I'm curious to ask about that fact. Are there any manufacturers of cars who are running with a retro theme by bringing back old cars but new features? Are there currently any? Because I know a lot of people are refurbishing old cars to drive on the new roads, right? But are there anybody who are bringing old models to a new market with upgraded like features? You know how the iPhone has an iPhone SE model, right? Where they use an old body but new specs. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that is there like a let's say like a fucking Toyota Camry from back in like the day where somebody just likes too much that they want to put like the newest freaking sensors and shit in there but keep the old look? Is there any cars like that?
Not that any I'm know of.
I feel like car manufacturers are missing on a fucking small ass market, but the one that's there, alright? I'm telling you. It's small, it's very tiny, it's very
make
niche.
a profit probably.
Yeah, so it's all up to you modders out there. Car modding, you better do that. I feel like there are people who do that already. What about you, Apple? What car? Do you even pay attention to cars enough to have a first car that impressed you?
Well,
Or is
I mean,
every
if you're
car's
talking
too
about
cool?
Okay, first car that impressed me. I'm going back way to my childhood there, okay? When my parents got an Estima, alright? It was regular. But they upgraded it kinda. But you know how? I'll send a picture. I prepared this.
Prepare this. Oh my god.
I prepared this. I'm sending it in the nap.
In the nap. Was this Napster?
Yep.
What
Can
the
you see
fuck? Damn.
Literally in every like headrest, right, in behind, there's
It's
a
a screen with a head. Yeah, okay. I had that
like,
before.
the-
Not gonna lie.
I know, but the old one usually, like the old car before we had, the old family car we had before the Estima, the Nazaria, had this thing only. Okay, this is like such like only at one there. Okay, but
These
the
are so
Estima
shit,
had
though.
4 of these. Yeah, the headrest one.
For anybody who has this back in the day, you know this shit never lasts. You buy a new ass car with this thing installed, it doesn't even last like few months before like, oh, reading has problems. I can't fucking see my video anymore. I don't know, man. It doesn't last long.
It only took like 1 year for like one of them to break, okay? But like I remember watching movies on like on road trips and stuff with my family and that kind of impressed me as a child, not gonna lie.
Like, damn, I can watch Shrek 2 in my car. Amazing. Not wrong though. That's probably what somebody did out there, alright?
Maybe. But yeah, that's what impressed me. Stupidly.
So it's not a car model,
Estima.
it's a car feature.
Estima, Toyota.
Okay.
Because
the
I don't
Estima.
really know what else can impress me. Everything's like, oh, it's cool, you know?
Okay. I guess the first car that impressed me, it's I feel like I'm a very practical person. Until I can use it myself, I don't actually know how to feel about a thing, right? So the first time I actually drove a car was obviously when I first drove a car to get my license. Like it was a Pro Duo Axia, which is why
That's
I
pretty
currently
modern.
have now, but which is why I have a current preference for short cars, like short in terms of like the length. It's because one, it was very easy to learn, very easy to drive, and I feel the maintenance might be simpler than a massive SUV. But that's what I believe, right? Obviously, because there's just less surface overall in the future. But that is the first car that impressed me, is because I tried it and it's like, wow, this is pretty simple. I can drive. That's what it made me feel. So I think that's my criteria for being impressed. It's because I feel like if I own this car, I can go places. Not because it's good, but it's because I can be free, right? That's the reason you want a car. You can go places. That's
Same
why. But
reason
that's
why
based
people-
on like. Okay, you could what?
Sorry, I was gonna say same reason everyone remembers first love, and your following partner carries some trait from your, first crush.
Well, if I had to say anything about her, I am kind of a romanticist sometimes. So I do hold nostalgia in a lot of ways, but that's also why like that car did overall drove my overall the vibe for how I view cars. So that's why I'm saying like I am a very cautious guy, especially on the road. Like I ride a motorcycle, which is like a well, I guess Americans won't call them motorcycles because you guys all have big ass bikes. Us here in Asian countries, especially the Southeast Asia, the fucking Honda Super Cup is an example of a bike that's common. Alright? It's like the fucking indestructible Myvi equivalent of motorcycles. It's equivalent of Myvi. Alright? It fucking will die in a drench and you can still drive it. Okay. A few weeks ago, we had like a Memorial Day for like us here over here. I saw an uncle accidentally driving his moped, which is like probably a Super Cup or something, a Honda, right? Into a ditch.
No, that's not a moped. Okay, yeah.
Into a ditch. I mean, he kind of got like knocked out, kinda, but the motorcycle was fine. The guy just drove it and fetched him home. Like the fucking bike is more indestructible than the guy, so you know, I'm just saying. Again, my daily driver for my car is a bike, so it's not like I have the most experience even with my own car, but just from the time that I have spent, it's a very comfortable drive. And short cars are now my Oshi in terms of car.
Yeah, Oshi.
Yeah, my car Oshi. Not that I have an opinion, but yeah, my family is also more loyal to the brands of like Japanese brands specifically, so more often than not, we have Toyotas and Mitsubishis over here in my family. And if I was to ride, like I mentioned, Apple's car, which is either Mercedes or BMW or whatever, I will probably like, what the fuck are you driving so fast? Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Have you ever driven pickup truck though? Hilux?
Nope. Because my family had a truck before, like a 4-wheel drive, right? But ever since my dad stopped going to camping, like off-road camping, I've never ridden a truck in a long time. So again, literally have no proximity with one on a daily basis.
I've driven a Tacoma, which is quite similar to Hilux. What about it?
What about it? Yeah, Apple, what about it?
Well, I can. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, Hilux is definitely the opposite of what you like to drive, right? It's long, it's big, alright? But as my sister likes to say, she likes to drive the Hilux more than the BMWs, we actually used the Hilux to go to KL
Alpha's
today.
raising his hand. Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Per my experience, it's actually very much easier to navigate than a sedan.
The Hilux, right?
The pickup truck.
Yes.
The turning radius is a lot smaller. Like you can cut short turns because they have to navigate in the fields, right? They have to make tight turns. Yeah, and the view is much better.
Yeah, you're
you
high.
sit so high.
You're looking down on everyone. Yeah.
I'm high. I'm gonna get pulled over. Oh no.
Not to mention, the Hilux that we have right now is a last year model, so it's super new and like it's very enjoyable to ride. Maybe next time we should pick you up. The seats are leather. It's a really comfortable car. That's what I'm
Road
saying.
trip with Apple Tapperson. I'll ride at the back.
I think the pickup truck is easier. It's more difficult to get into a scratch, like minor accident than a Myvi. Yeah.
Yeah, like a short,
true.
small car. Yes.
I think
You're
shorter
much
cars just have more
also.
more risk of having minor accidents, obviously. But yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Also, one fact about riding trucks, if it's like a place that you can do it, you would love standing at the back, just being in the wind, riding like a fucking caveman, bro. It's like, oh my god, look at me, bro. Mom, look at me, I'm no hands.
Yeah, that's actually a common sight in the countryside, in my opinion. Yeah.
I did that when we were like off-roading, camping, like with my dad back in the day.
I like being in the behind, but like our Hilux has a cover.
being in a behind.
So
Yes.
because, yeah, what? Because our Hilux has a cover because we're like transporting goods and you don't want it to be wet and stuff. So yeah, but at least the cover has windows that you can open. So yeah, you can still sit behind. Yeah, but not as freely.
True. So those are the first
Yeah.
cars that overall has impressed us. A lot of different reasons to impress by a car, to be fair. So if you are impressed by a car for a certain reason, let us know in the comments. And going to the next though, in the case that there is going to be a transition between electric and gas cars, a plug-in hybrid does meet that demand, as Alpha has mentioned. Obviously, it's part of the list. But what do we think about plug-in hybrids?
Well,
I think-
were
I
you
think that
both there when
concept-
I explained the plug-in hybrid?
In like normal VC,
Yeah.
probably, but you know, for the audience sake, you know, explain, I guess.
Plug-in hybrid
Yeah.
is more than hybrid. It is a hybrid car with a battery, but that battery is smaller than what's in a Tesla or full electric car. So the battery can per charge can last you about 48 miles or 72 kilometers, which is good enough for a daily commute. Like you commute to the company and come back to home and you charge it overnight to save you some money. But if you need to travel long distance, you can just use its gasoline engine. And because it's a hybrid car, it saves gas when it's using. It saves more gas than a petrol car when it's only using gas. So it's I think it's the ultimate transition between an EV and a gas vehicle. It's both, you know. What do
It
you
has the
think of it?
benefits of both.
Yes, except for the cost.
I do think that helps compensate for the weaknesses of both in a few ways, as like based on the
Yeah.
pros that you mentioned just now. Like obviously, if the tank is the same as a regular gas car, which I don't know if that's the case, but with that battery, again, as you mentioned, is that it does save the fuel in the case where there is electricity charged, which sounds pretty good. But again, plug-in hybrids, I don't know the actual market of it and where they stand in the cost department versus a gas car, like you mentioned. If the hybrid, again, is an affordable range where the benefits outweigh the price, I think a lot of people will go for that as a transition eventually. What about you, Apple? What do you think? Hybrids.
On hybrid cars. I think it's a cool concept. It's a very cool concept, alright? Being able to like use electric in the city, and then like if you need your gas, you got your gas, you know, for the when you need to go from far journeys, okay? But this is not. I've never really driven. I don't drive.
You never
I've
even
never really
driven?
been in one or seen one in real life, but I have heard of like it's failures of like maintenance and stuff, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion. I can't really say much because I don't really know that much, but I think it's cool. I think it's a concept that can get the best of both worlds. But yeah.
You know, one thought I have about hybrids compared to like a gas car versus
What?
an electric car where it's two sides, right? Like two drastic sides. The middle might end up having more parts to maintain over time because you have both. I don't know if that's true, but that's a thought I have because they have components for both sides. And adding more parts means more aspects that would need fixing after like a long time, even like post warranty and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe Alpha's looking at me as if I said something wrong. I don't know.
No, you dropped stuff. I was worried a bit.
Yeah, but I caught it. I dropped the cup, which is metal. I almost fucking dropped it, and I caught it like fucking reflexes. Oh my. Anyways.
Gaming
But yeah.
reflexes.
Ninja. Yes, I'm a ninja. Anyways, so plug-in hybrids. How many models of hybrids are there right now? I haven't seen. I don't think I've noticed one ever. So that does
Almost
make me curious.
every model has a plug-in version right now.
Oh.
Every model.
So it's actively being transitioned right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it gets better soon. I don't know. If that's the case, then EVs. I mean, it'll still take a while, but maybe on a hopeful side, 50s in the 2050s. Not much better, is it? Anyway, going to the final segment of today's episode.
Oh.
Cars. What is your dream car? If money is not an issue. If money is not an issue. I don't know. Apple, you can't drive yet, but soon, hopefully. What car would you want if you have all the money to afford one?
Me. I've always liked an
Yes,
FJ
you.
Cruiser. It's kind of outdated.
FJ Cruiser?
Toyota
Does Alpha
FJ
know the model?
Cruiser.
Oh, I know.
Oh. It looks like a
It's a
Jeep.
big
looks-
car. Yeah, yeah.
It looks kind of bougie.
Bougie.
What? I don't like the final version though. The color, the final model version, 2023, is so ugly. I really like the classic blue or yellow.
Oh, the yellow one looks really good. It looks like
Yeah.
a car from the 90s or 80s. You know, the color scheme.
It looks very nice. Yeah. I actually saw one today, but it was the ugly color.
It's the ugly ass version.
Yeah, the interior is old.
Call it retro,
But-
Apple.
If I had it right, when money is no problem, I would upgrade it for real though. Like have a screen there, yeah. And I don't know. I just find it a very charming car.
That's the Alpha.
That's-
When you're talking dream cars, you're talking about models that currently exist, right?
That has to.
Not
At
like
least that's-
concept cars.
Can be
that
old car. Can be
could
old car.
happen. Yeah, can be old car. Also, because Malaysia also has a very, very heavy modding scene for cars, especially like decals,
Yeah.
spoilers, body kits, lighting,
There's
sound
a-
systems, all of that shit. I'm just like, damn, your car is so fucking annoying.
What?
This car going on a road. Shut the
Oh
fuck
yeah,
up.
those type I really don't like.
Oh, there's also the type of car that the speakers are so fucking loud that outside you can hear them. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not get ear damage in that car? I'm like, why can I hear your fucking what? Why can I hear your EDM outside of your car? That's fucking nuts.
Okay.
The root sandstorm.
I can hear the root sandstorm.
They should be
There-
playing
so-
Euro beats.
I think right. My father always say like, Suzuki Jimmy looks good on you. I'm like, no. I prefer an FJ Cruiser. Okay, Suzuki Jimmy and FJ Cruiser, they have the like same amount of like retro, but FJ Cruiser, I feel like the Suzuki Jimmy is like kind of small. But both can be modded into like more functional modern cars, you know. Yeah. But the Jimmy scene is actually really big in Malaysia, if you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
It is really big.
Don't say you didn't know.
Modern.
Alright, Alpha. What about you?
You didn't know? Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Mind if I hear
if
your-
money is
mind
not
if
an
I hear-
issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I hear yours first?
Mine? Damn,
Yeah.
I have zero fucking car experience, but yeah, if you're talking about me, I would probably. I mean, if I'm thinking fun. Okay, if money is not an issue. Money not an issue. It is a hard choice because again, my current encyclopedia of cars is very small. All right, I know what I don't want. I don't need a car that's I don't need a car that costs too much to daily drive for one, naturally. I don't need a car that's too fast because I don't like driving that fast. Because again, endangering the fucking my life as a whole. But definitely a car. I would definitely say I'll go with a Japanese car. Because again, that's just my taste in general. Very default, isn't it? Right? It's again. But what models are there? I don't fucking know. What is there? I would probably go with a. I know one thing I don't like about cars: leather seats. I hate them.
What?
They stink. I hate them. Disgusting.
But they're premium. They're more premium compared to the what?
Yeah, old leather seats
What's
has
it, plush?
has a smell. Yeah.
No, even new leather smell. I don't like it. I just don't like leather smell.
Really?
I
Probably
just
it's
don't
the
like
sun, the climate.
Yeah, but the one thing I also don't like, of course, I think car seats, I would prefer cloth. But drivers who don't fucking maintain your cloth seats, you stink too.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like the type of people, okay, here's the gripe. Here's a fucking gripe. Women who are literally traveling everywhere always put their shit in their cars long term. Your shit make your car stink. Especially if you like have makeup. That's the gripe of my family because like they store shit in their cars, they don't bring it out. They're in the sun so long. They don't use air fresheners. Don't use car purifiers or whatever. Stinky AF. And I get like headaches because of the smell. But like you mentioned, okay, here's a decent model that's found. If I were to buy a car without money concerns, again, I wouldn't be thinking of anything too fancy. My ideal car eventually is something like what I see here, right? The shape is a Mitsubishi Expander, something like this, where it's short back, but the car is bigger to compensate for maybe potentially 8 people. I don't need a truck. I don't want a truck because, again, I don't want to put anything back there. I don't have any need for that from what I can tell. Because my work generally, I'm going to be working in software and media long term. I don't need anything there. I idealize driving a family of 4 minimum. So a car like this, pretty nice. Alright. And especially if it's fuel efficient and stuff like that, I think that's pretty good. I do think my car currently is very small, short. There are risks with that type of like car overall. So a higher car, slightly bigger but also short back. Don't need it too long because again, it does ease driving. Something like that will be fine. Even an Avanza, I do enjoy the vibe of an Avanza, like a Toyota Avanza.
Wait, you're answering dream car if budget's tight,
Yeah.
right?
No, this is dream car if money is not an issue. Because I genuinely don't know. No. I do not know how expensive a car like that is on average. Like, I don't have a concept of the limits. So, like, the car I mentioned is probably a good option.
Okay.
Also, I'm a guy that doesn't splurge too much. Alright, I don't buy that things too expensive by default. If I buy a car with no money limits, all I would do is pimp it out with like the maximum features available. That's all I'll do. Alright. If I had no money, I'll go with like the base model. But because no limits, I'll get every premium model except for the leather. Because I don't want that. That's about it. I probably have a shit take to all the nerds out there, but you know.
Yeah, you're kind of mid. Anyways, what my FJ Cruiser answer is the answer to the what if budget is tight one. If money is not an issue, I'll get a Mustang. Cause this is actual delusion. I'm never getting a Mustang in my life, but this is delusion.
Oh yeah, talking about like dream cars if money was not my mother really hopes to get a Countryman. I think I don't know if it's a Mini S or a Countryman, like a Mini Cooper. I have ridden a Mini Cooper a few times. It is pretty nice, not gonna lie, but I've heard the maintenance long term is very pricey. So if
I should have.
yeah.
Sorry, I should have included that the money is not an issue. Covers the maintenance cost.
So it's
Like
not
you're already rich.
front.
You're rich.
Yeah, you're rich. This is
Yeah, you're
illusion.
rich.
Well, I guess a BMW would be fine. I will go for that shape again, that type of car. I already told you like the type of car I like. But yeah. So what about you, Alpha? If money is
Ford
not an
Mustang
issue.
Shelby GT 500.
Toyota Crown. Do you have that in Malaysia?
Toyota what?
Crown.
Oh yeah, you said
How do you spell
something
that?
about
Crown?
Crown.
Crown.
For
Crown,
for
like the
King.
crown. King.
For Burger King.
The new Crown does look really good. Ooh.
It's like one of their higher end cars
Yes.
for Toyota, right? Yeah.
Oh, it's a sedan too.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like I feel like it really carries over some feeling from
Apple CarPlay
Yeah.
available. Lamau.
like it has that feel from the old times when Japanese luxury cars were a shot. It also has the technology. It has it has a hybrid version, so it's
Oh.
new and old. Yeah, and I think it has some historical value.
Understandable.
Like the IP. Yeah.
Pretty
It
solid
represents
choice.
it represents the like I'm not showing off, but I do have going for a high standard. Also, I'm like already people see this, they don't know, like
You're
they know
upper
I'm rich
middle class.
already. Yeah. But I'm also not like old money.
Pretentious.
Not too flashy.
Yeah.
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 Well, if budget
it's
is
niche.
tight, what's your choice, Alpha? Apple already mentioned hers.
Budget is tight.
Damn, my budget must be high.
I'm like
Okay.
a poor man's choice. Poor man's choice. I want to say something like a Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla, but in the States we have this option. Look up. Wait, budget is tight, so yeah, never. Honda Civic.
tight is tight?
Honda Civic. How tight is tight?
Yeah, what's the definition of tight in here, you know? Like, we didn't even know when you mentioned if money is not an issue that maintenance counted.
Put it this way. You are awarded a car. You can get a car for free, but it has to be a used car at least 10 years ago.
So technically
What
the
would you
model's
pick?
also kind of limited, huh? What would I pick?
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to get like a typical Malaysian made car, but the rumors keep telling me that the maintenance not bad, just stupid.
Yeah, I feel that.
And X50 does look pretty good, not gonna lie. It's a cheap car technically. It's a relatively affordable because it is local made here. But if it's a car that's more international, I don't want to say Myvi, man. I have the fucking urge to say Myvi, but no, I don't want a Myvi, bro. I don't want a
Do
Myvi
it.
so bad.
Do it!
No, it's too small. Okay lah. I think an SUV again, but something more comfortable. If like something that okay, maybe a Kia. I don't know, man. I don't want an Alphard. Like something. I don't want something that big. But something just as comfortable would be fine. I don't really have any idea what this car. Somebody tell me what car this is, but you know, something like this will be fine. and as long as it's cheap to keep it fueled and drive it, I'm good.
Huh.
How about you,
Is
Apple? Oh yeah,
that
you
it?
mentioned if was it the FJ, right?
If budget is tight.
I mean, it's a free used car, so
Sorry, yeah, free used car. Like it's trying to mimic the situation where you are already poor, but you can make a dumb decision.
you won a fucking prize for a car that was
yeah.
used.
Yeah, I mean FJ Cruiser in
Damn, she died.
DC, okay.
lost it.
Oh, okay, understandable. Your voice is still here though.
Yeah.
Continue.
Just imagine
continue.
I'm here.
Footage not found. Okay.
Okay. What is it called again? Oh yeah. Shit, what was I talking about?
FJ.
Older model FJ.
Yeah. I really like the FJ Cruiser. Oh yeah, you can't find it in Malaysia. You can only get it recon or used. So yeah, that's
So
it.
in this case,
Like
you
nice
just
model.
don't get the new one, but get a fucking refurbished or an old one. Then you're fucking happy because
Yeah.
it's the same thing. And
Yeah.
maybe in the case like the older model technically looks better in your opinion. So it's a win-win.
It does.
No? It's actually the better choice. Okay. Last fucking question here. What is your favorite car? The car that you would own if that was the only car you would own in your whole life. What the fuck? What do I know? I have no answer. I've only owned one car for my whole fucking life. If I had to own my current car for my rest of my life, I'd be fine with it, to be honest. So it's a
Yeah.
very, very anticlimactic answer, not gonna lie. So yeah.
Should I go?
Go.
Okay. I would own. I don't drive.
You will.
Wait. I will. Actually, this month, May. So then.
Birthday's
what
coming
car?
up. Gonna drive soon. Damn.
Yeah, what car would I own for the rest of my life?
Own
Honestly,
your
I don't see
father's
myself as-
BMW.
No, the BMW is my mother's. My father's is the Mercedes. What would I? I don't know. To be honest, I'm okay with driving my family's cars because I want a motorcycle.
You still need to convince your family 100% for that, right?
Only my dad is like kind of disapproving. Yeah.
Of course, it's your
Honda
dad.
Super Cup?
It's always your dad. It's always Asian dads. Don't let Doctor do dangerous thing, ah. No. You better not go out too late at night, ah. You better come back before 10, ah. If not, I beat you, ah. If I disown you, you do not
No.
come into my house. Yeah, I had a friend that had that happen before. So yeah. I locked the door, you cannot come in. For real. What about you, Alpha?
Subaru WRX STI.
Very specific. You know he knows his
That's
shit.
so specific. What is it? Silver?
It's a Subaru WRX Whiskey Romeo X-Ray STI
Okay.
Sierra Target India.
What with?
What is this? Is it the next light novel title? It's fucking long, man.
WRX STI.
WRX SDI Apple. Can you
Well,
type
anyway.
that fast enough?
STI.
Just Subaru
Yeah,
STI.
just wait.
Apples
So
are
the
local
thing about
Google
this car
person.
is it's a rally car, and rally car goes to places where there are no roads. They do like hardcore crossing.
Off-roading.
Huh.
Well, there has to be some kind of road, but not a well-paved road. They cannot do rock. They can't do rock climbing like a jeep. but they can do well in some bad condition roads. I like the city cars.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they will. If I'm owning one such car, you can go to a lot of places and get through more terrains than an urban car. And they just cool. I will never be cringed to have like a latest model STI in when I'm like 80, 90 years old.
You'd be the
Be
cool
kinda
grandpa at that point.
Cool,
Yeah, I'll be the cool grandpa. Yes.
But that depends if your eyes work at that point. But yeah. I can't recognize you, son. Who are you again?
If your
And
eyes
you're
can't work,
90.
you can't drive.
Yeah. You're probably more at risk than me, Apple. You're already short-sighted, so.
No.
Like if I drive an old Toyota Crown when I were a grandpa, I'm
You'll
just
be the coolest grandpa alive.
No, I'll be a regular grandpa. Just like every grandpa.
You're
But if I drive this-
regular.
Every grandpa that went through a midlife crisis bought that. What if?
This is for grandpa whose eye still works.
Okay. all right. Here's a tangent before we end it. I don't know if you want to add more tangents, okay? Think about car ads that I have watched when I watch cinema, A lot of times they have car ads once in a while. Either it's car ads or fucking perfume ads. They keep doing that shit to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I pictured this suddenly. It was like the Mitsubishi Highlander. I don't know with car ads. If they love to drive in like slopes and then drive through water, drift and shit like that. I don't deny that's cool, but no fucking regular person would do that. That is just pure cinema, man. Also, cinema loves exploding cars. It's plain ass product placement just for you, bro. Just for you. The car exploding. Does that make you want to buy it? Are you gonna buy it now? Yes, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, do you like fucking car ads? Do you see car ads, or it's like, if it's cool, I guess. I think filming a car is very hard though. It takes so much effort.
Yes.
I don't think I'll ever be able to film a car.
Yeah.
If a car is stationary, maybe I can do it. But again, that's like level 1 shit. You need to film a moving car outside of the car. That's skill. And risk of your camera falling off the car. But
True.
I would love to be part of a set like that someday, where I'm filming with a camera outside.
Some car ads are actually like animated. No, they're actually CGI simulations. They're not real.
Damn,
Talking
the
about
world is a
the
simulation.
Subaru one.
Huh?
You're talking about the Subaru.
No.
I've-
Sorry
yeah.
for mentioning Subaru again. They made a advertisement, I think last year, on their newest model. They used the initial D anime style, but the car is the new car.
Okay, that one is because it's like literally targeting a specific style. So I can see why they did CG. Alright. But the second thing is obviously it's more cost efficient than hiring a stunt driver and putting the car on like a risk, right? Like having a right track, renting the location, the driver, the car having a risk, all of that they can pay easily. But I'm saying CG is cheaper. Because you have overworked, underpaid workers. Amazing. One thing I also thought, I don't know, all of these are like the most casual perspective. I'm a fucking pathetic, first timer in this discussion. What about the material about cars? Let's talk about cars. Like, my V is mematically known as the car that doesn't fucking die. And also, on the other hand, German cars are the fucking cars that are known where And if you crash into any fucking other country's car, the car that doesn't break is the German car. Is that true, or like have you seen that shit in real life?
Not what?
Like the material, you know, it's about like saying like
Yeah.
how well they last.
Yeah, I think German cars are good for that.
Alpha's there like
Qualitinas.
I don't know
But
if this
German- I
topic
don't
is worth
think-
talking about.
But I don't think German cars are for everyone, you know.
Which ones are
Japanese
German
cars are
cars
definitely
again?
more. Volvo,
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW. What's that one? Audi.
Aldi.
Yeah,
Like
Audi
you
nuts.
speaking German. Aldi's nuts. High level conversation right here.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Porsche.
Yeah.
How about you, Alpha? What do you think
Porsches.
about the materials for our cars today? I have heard discussions about, like, let's say, obviously, product degradation, planned obsolescence. That's what I should say. Planned obsolescence is more common today than long time ago. 2, material and costs are being cut more often than it used to, because back in the day, it's about making the best thing to sell with the material and technology they have, compared to now, which we can literally cut costs by paying people less and having cheaper materials. I don't know how much that affects the car industry. I know the smartphone industry is affected by it. I know the fucking tech industry is affected by it. Cars? I don't know if Alpha has an insight on this. What do you think? I'm pulling a like right punch in you just to like, you know you. Because I don't know my shit. That's why I'm asking you.
Huh.
I can't give opinions on this.
Need to further research.
NDA.
Burger.
NDA.
Non-disclosure. Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreement. Oh my god. Isn't it to be determined more than NDA? But yeah, if y'all have a thought on that topic or whatever topics that we had today, you know, put them down in the comments below. This is definitely a very interesting topic for us because, again, too much free time consists of fucking broke guys under 20 people like me and Apple. So what do I know, right? Alpha's a full adult here. He knows more than us. And we would love to invite him back some this future along the time through this season or next season. So stay tuned for those. The next episodes are still to be determined. This is the first recorded episode of the season. I'm very grateful that Alpha has decided to join us because he was excited.
Honor's mine.
I'm excited. Yeah,
Very
it was
much.
fun. Yeah, so
Oh,
look
no.
forward to season 3. We're gonna start implementing more different things. We're gonna start thinking of live streams as a potential
Yeah.
way of, like, because Riverside FM, the software we're using, has a live stream feature, and if we can mix in that live streams in between produced, edited episodes, it could probably help our workflow more. Because again, it's getting bloated, our workflow for editing these podcasts. So we are trying to think of different ways, and potentially, if the topics do run out, this could be our final season for a while. That depends. All of this is just saying, look forward to season 3. We're trying to do our best topics and our most excited things to do, either IRL, online, everything with our friends. For those of you who have already seen, we've invited tons of friends across the 2 seasons. So if you want to watch us and go check back our old catalog for the first 2 seasons of 25 videos, check it out on our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
Too Much Free Time FM,
Yeah.
or our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Pods, whatever the hell you want to get your audio podcasts. My name is Snivy,
And I'm Apple.
with no cam, and our guest is Alpha. Look forward to the next guest, and we'll definitely be excited. Do subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next video, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you
a
for watching.
ghost.
Bye.
Footage not found. Error 404. Okay, bye bye guys. Bye.
Bye.